Hey guys, what's up? It's Rygar the Destroyer, and today we're going to be taking a look at Rey and BB-8 from the Star Wars Black Series. These guys are really cool, but before we take a closer look at them, let's go ahead and take a look at their packaging. So here it is, pretty standard for the Force Awakens figures. It's got a nice picture of the two characters down here on the bottom. And on the back, they've got a fairly brief description of the character. If you'd like to read that, you can just pause the video. So let's go ahead and go on to the figure itself. Rey here stands at, let's see here, about 5.5 inches tall. So she, again, like Finn, is shorter than most characters, but I do think that that is accurate to the movie. And BB-8 here stands at 2.5 inches tall to the top of his antenna here. These are pretty cool figures. I do have some complaints about Rey, but I'll get to those here in a second. Let's go ahead and talk about her accessories though. She comes with this, really I'm not sure what it is. It's some type of staff. It's well detailed and fairly well painted, so I'm glad that they did that. I know a lot of people have been complaining about this strap here, how you can't put it over her shoulder, but you know, I'm gonna pose it with it in her hand, so I'm fine with that. It looks, you know, it looks good. So I'm glad they included this. And I guess technically BB-8 is an accessory, but we'll talk about him as if he's a figure here in a second. Rey's articulation here, it's not the greatest. It's decent, but it's not the best. She's got a ball peg with a disc in the neck there, so she can look up and down a pretty good amount. Lean her head from side to side a little bit. You know, turn it side to side, of course. She's got ball hinge shoulders, and I really like how they've done this where her shirt, her t-shirt kind of tucks in underneath her robe. It looks really nice. And those do swivel 360. Actually, no, they do. Okay. For a second there, I thought they didn't. She's got ball-hinged elbows, and this is the range of motion they get, which is really disappointing. I don't know why they sculpted them where they... Oops, bumped the camera there. Where they only get this much range of motion. I feel like that's an easy problem for them to fix, but they do swivel here. She's got a ball-hinge wrist that does swivel, of course, and it's the same on both sides. She's got a ball peg in the torso that pretty much just lets her crunch forward and swivel side to side. You don't get a whole lot of lean out of it or anything. She's got T-jointed hips, but her like, I guess, tunic gets in the way, so you don't get a really great range of motion out of them. She's got a thigh swivel. She's got ball-hinged knees that do swivel, and I don't like the way they've sculpted that. It just doesn't look very natural in any other position other than standing straight up, so not a huge fan of that. And it does swivel side to side, if I haven't mentioned that. She's got a hinged ankle with an ankle rocker, so technically all of the articulation is there. You're just not going to use a whole lot of it. And I do have some more complaints about the figure itself. She's just not very well painted. If you'll notice here, there's a lot of bleeding. It's not showing up on camera so much, but the white, it looks like it needs an extra coat, and it's kind of sloppy in its application. I got a fairly decent one here, but sometimes the belts don't connect to the pouch here. And I feel like her makeup is a little bit heavy-handed, so it makes her look a little strange. Other than that, she's perfectly fine figure. I think she definitely represents her character. I mean, I haven't seen the movie yet, but you know, she looks like she did in the trailer, so I'm pretty happy about that overall. And BB-8 here is just awesome. I feel almost like they could have released this as a separate figure. Not for full price, of course, but in its own packaging, maybe something smaller, you know, at a lower price. This guy's really awesome. He's got great detail, great paint work. Everything looks good, and his articulation is great. He's got a double ball peg in the head, so you can kind of rock his head back and forward and back, turn it. So it really does work well. And you don't ever really see his articulation, which is great, kind of adds to the effect. And when I saw the design of this as far as an action figure goes, I was concerned about it falling over. This thing stands up great. I'll do it here. My hand, you can see it's like a Weeble Wobble, if anybody remembers those. It's got a pretty heavy weight down at the bottom, and then the top is hollow so that it always kind of tends to stand straight up, which I really, really like. So overall, these figures are definitely worth picking up. New characters, again, I have a feeling that like Finn, she's going to be a main character along with BB-8 here, so definitely worth picking up if you like Star Wars figures. Anyway, if you have any comments or questions, please leave them down in the comment section below, and I guess I'll see you later.